Hi, this video is about Flywheel hosting versus GoDaddy hosting. These are two pretty different hosts. I can see potentially using both of them, but in this video I'm going to show you what it's like to use each one along with some positives and negatives of each one and what I'm looking for in a hosting company, which is a bit different than a lot of what you see out there. For example, a lot of what you see out there is like, oh, they'll measure uptime, and there's really not a big difference between 99.5% and 99.3%. That doesn't really matter. And also Google and the other search engines understand, a site goes down every once in a while, and so unless they have major uptime issues, that's not something I'm going to look at. I have used GoDaddy for over 6 years and Flywheel for about 2 years. The first thing I look for is what I call a cPanel. Now, GoDaddy has what I would call a cPanel. I think that they've put their own skin on it, but I still think it's pretty much exactly like what I would want in a cPanel. So let's take a look at this right here, and we'll edit out the name of my my website. But what I'm looking for are this file manager right here. Sometimes I use that. I look for email forwarders. I like to use that as well so that I can have an email address at this one but still manage it with one email address. And then I have an automatic WordPress install. That is really the main things that I want to see with cPanel. There are some additional things. Sometimes you might want add-on domains. I just had one. Just saw it down here. Add-on domains or subdomains. This is something else you might need to use. You might want to see, sometimes you might want to make it with Joomla or Drupal or some other things. And so this is some of the benefits of having a cPanel. And then, that you can, if you're an advanced user or you have an advanced technician that works for you, having the PHP or the SQL right here, MySQL databases, can also be helpful. Okay, and so this is something that you don't. A lot of these you don't really get with Flywheel. Now, looks like I posted this in the wrong place. Let's see if we can move this up. So you don't get a cPanel with Flywheel. You get their own cPanel. And so let's take a look at what this is here. So really, you get sort of like an admin area where you can add different sites that you can manage, and there's different things you can do here, but even they're advanced, I wouldn't say as advanced, and I believe that you can't do. There's a couple advanced things that you can't do that make it difficult to fully manage your website. And these aren't advanced in that they're really difficult to set up and they take hours and hours. They're advanced as in they are features of a website that are technically without the cPanel could be extremely difficult, if not impossible, to set up. I don't see anything in here about email, so I think that you'd have to probably, I think it's an add-on. I think you have to pay to do the email. SSL, I don't even see, I can't remember how they do email. I think you might have to do it through something complicated. It's just, this is what I would call WordPress hosting. So the good news is that it has WordPress, which is good, which is one of the checks right here. So we go over here. I do always want to do WordPress. So yes, it has WordPress compatibility. That's good. I think Flywheel support's going to be a little bit better. The ability to use that, back to the cPanel, which kind of jumped around on that, GoDaddy is a clear winner. This is pretty important, I think. And if all things being equal, I'll take the hosting with the cPanel. In this case, it's not all things being equal because GoDaddy is much less expensive. I'm not like a really big fan of GoDaddy either, so that should mean a lot to you. But they do have the cPanel and they do have WordPress. They have all that you need. They're slightly more expensive and they're kind of a little bit annoying in some ways, but they're totally fine. Whoops, I put this wrong. This should say Flywheel. So they're $165 a year. That's really expensive for hosting. I mean, they better do some really amazing things. And frankly, again, there's not really, they don't have the cPanel. There's some things that are difficult or if not impossible to do with them. I mean, you don't get a free domain registration like you do with GoDaddy when you pay yearly. Neither one of them is owned by Endurance International Group, which is a company that buys up hosting company strips their support and their quality, and then basically and eventually will increase their prices. So that's good that neither one of them is there. If I had to choose, I would definitely choose GoDaddy. They're much less expensive. They have the cPanel and they can do the WordPress, and their support is just fine. It's not like great, but it's not terrible either. I usually don't even need to encounter the support. So hopefully this video has been very helpful to you when making your hosting decision. I do have a hosting company that I like more than both of these, and I'll put a link to that down below. If this video has been helpful to you, please like it and subscribe. And thank you for watching, and have a great day. Bye.